When we think about global supply chains today, we picture a massive, coordinated machine. Cargo ships, cargo planes, fiber optic cables, and digital ledgers, all working in constant communication to move goods from one side of the planet to the other. But if we rewind the clock roughly 4,000 years to 1950 BCE, we have to strip away all of that infrastructure. There are no corporate hierarchies, there are no postal services, no paved highways, and absolutely no digital tracking. What remains is a raw geographical reality. On one side, you have the powerful city-state of Assur in ancient Mesopotamia. On the other, the bustling trade hub of Kanesh in central Anatolia. Between them lies a punishing, mountainous gap stretching for 1,000 kilometers. Without any centralized communication network or modern corporate structure, organizing a reliable, high-volume flow of goods across that kind of distance should have been nearly impossible. And yet, an incredibly sophisticated trade route thrived here for centuries. The evidence for how they pulled this off is buried here, in the volcanic landscapes of modern-day Turkey. During early 20th century excavations at the site of ancient Kanesh, archaeologists began uncovering the physical remains of a sprawling Middle Bronze Age merchant colony. Over the following decades, researchers pulled roughly 6,000 cuneiform tablets directly from the earth in this area. Looking at these specific physical tablets, you won't find epic poetry or royal decrees. These texts are hyper-specific, everyday documents. They are debt records, shipping receipts, and localized trade logs recorded between individual merchants working the route. For a long time, these were treated simply as isolated historical artifacts. By aggregating the names and numbers from thousands of these fragmented receipts, we shift the perspective from individual relics to a cohesive record of a whole society. Translating a single tablet gives you a single data point. You might learn that a merchant named Puzur Assur sold a shipment of tin to a man named Imdi Ilm. We can visualize this using graph theory, a mathematical concept used to model pairwise relations between objects. This diagram represents that concept at its most basic. Two dots represent the two merchants, and a connecting line maps a single interaction between them. When researchers apply that exact same methodology to all 6,000 tablets, the snowball effect is immediate. We capture every recorded loan, every partnership, and every dispute. By treating these translated texts as quantitative data, a pile of static rocks becomes a living, highly dynamic map of human relationships. But building this map reveals a severe data corruption issue. Ancient Assyrians reused popular names constantly. You will find the name Ashur-edi scattered across hundreds of different tablets. If you map every Ashur-edi as a single dot, your network breaks. You end up with a massive, artificially important node that is actually 5 different people living decades apart. To solve this, data scientists use a latent variable model. This is a statistical method that looks for hidden patterns in the surrounding context. By analyzing who a specific Ashur-edi trades with most often, the model separates the single name into distinct, accurate individuals. Once separated, the density of a merchant's connections allows researchers to estimate their age and assign them a hierarchical rank, stacking junior apprentices at the bottom and highly connected senior partners at the top. Resolving these homonyms allows us to observe how people aged, moved, and gained status, providing a structural map of the society's seniority and demographic growth. With the hierarchy established, we can examine the network starting at the absolute micro level, the meticulously structured ranks of a single merchant's household. But this unit doesn't operate in a vacuum. A merchant in Assur relied on his son stationed in Kanesh to receive goods, and his brother in a neighboring town to secure silver. The household is completely tethered to an extended familial genealogy spanning multiple cities. As the view pulls back to its maximum limit, those overlapping family networks span the entire distance. The map is no longer a void between two cities, but a continuous chain of social checkpoints. The Assyrians didn't need a sprawling, centralized government or modern corporate oversight to run this global supply chain. The operational infrastructure was built entirely on the scalable, localized bonds of family and social trust. Because this dataset is built from dated receipts covering roughly 250 years, we aren't just looking at a static snapshot. We can actually watch time pass within the network. This chronological visualization tracks specific cohort groups. we can see junior merchants steadily rising through the ranks, accumulating connections, and eventually taking over senior roles as older generations cycle out. The trade route survived for centuries because the social structure was perfectly designed to preserve institutional knowledge, naturally passing the commercial empire to the next generation without disrupting the flow of goods. If you take the topological shape of this 1950 BCE trade route and overlay it onto a map of modern digital commerce systems, the structural patterns are practically identical. The tools to record our debts have evolved from wet clay to silicon processors, but the underlying mechanics of how we trade remain the same. A globalized economy isn't a modern invention born from industrial technology. Its foundation has always been the intricate, highly scalable web of human relationships.